Hello there, good evening and welcome to our sports show. This is Sports Premium. My name is Vincent Forgor. I'm song here, good evening, Ebro, America Yepa, Medini Vincent Forgor. Free Sabri, because it's no Siam Bono, a good evening, man for man so, and our face on the Fisem, and one some any day, bro. My main content and persona, me pundits, and answer me co-presenters, and answer me colleagues. Me know my ear, you may know, may introduce you more. Now, Ian Shasi, Jeffas Misha, NP Caps at Daroma, Daniel Ewoha. Robert Enzudiso and Osman Etrato Abuja for Mwakwaba. Na mo te sen. E de nyankopɔ asɛm reni ho ne. Nti Osman sha asɛm ma metete ho na yenkomra na yemfa nsɛm.
Santo kasa metete ho ho. Sɛm no dɔɔso ankasa.
Pasa
na me ho bia me sha.
Wo ya wo sha asɛm.
Frɛ sɛm no dɔɔso. Na GFA shebo last season say ye boss season we team say zone 1 zone 2 zone 3 team say beto so miensa no bia ebenya bass and crap what deliver and as was the promise no what deliver kama pa or the air na Mr. Kujofia no o kan say be fa Ghana yen GFA president ho kirem say afco no yantimi anko bia on resign na and e wasa kasa a ne wasa esinin nsam no so dia nsam na wo kan nyina beba e wo dwumadi ne so ene enenre like kisi akasa e da for real fence oto ado ho sa so na Ghana Yen Blasters team manager who refers Aminu Shadu Akasa na some wakara man for some money tiase papa esan se o chire mu se me de baba ama wonya bia tie pama no makonkan e de ama ebewram ewo Women's Premier League table no kwa he na team na omode da Sasuna Division 1 so na ifa na omoda ne nyina ho nsem beba ewo dwumadi ne so ene enemre na brands and marketing manager e de Nation Service Mr. Kennedy Boachi ansa na nsem ho ha be kan bi e de atro Sasuna former GFA Vice President Mr. George Afriye ne some Dawson ha ye be kan ina e de atro o dwumadi ne so enenre
And some Dawson and Osman atete kakra ho atro no me ko Robert nchen Robert dia na ba
and some about Dawson na ye be ko tennis mu na edim komo Rafael Nada o de dwumadi na si na kwan ba kra ana ofa so edisi ye ho nsem be ba na afi onso wati FC Barcelona the ban is Spotify Camp Nou on her. Mumu we call her games be or muntimi mono due to UEFA nemra bi sign and a honsam tie yebema a home common in a Vinicius Junior and ko DNA fofro edema Vinicius na ese ne nchi efre bibrim ha ba bi o man be mu Ghana na honsam nyina wa ase ne get to the kwai signs na bibia so I5 Buffon ase Neymar better e wo bibimu at the chain both Cristiano Ronaldo and our face Neymar Santos Junior. Honsam our high the Real Madrid for the Brina free Mukampa, but Liverpool Mohonsam our Pep ever standing in United.
Okay, near piece of Johnny. Now I stand there. Daniel, let us say. And some are Buffon at Cano. Okay. Ever near you who you pa. My now home my bar. Robert said, "Come on for Manso."
Madeira, Manchester, Madrid, Turin, and Manchester again.
We're a million volts in a pool of light.
Emraso say ere nsama ya poapo no nwumre no eto anim nsam no edɔso efri fie ede ba ma no ne nyina nti we ne ye ncha ho ebesisi so ntantam so na afi de wo ho no ye de amaode aye hyase na ye de afri tennis mu Rafael Nada ana UEFA formula ba ko kirem se untimi ensi akan in European competition ewo two different stadiums ansana season up na wie ye nti sete sade ana basa for no se musan by Stadio Camp Nou krana ene La Liga games and have so other competitions and I'm obetimi abono ho nemo UEFA Champions League ne de mo be koso ana afi mapono ewo Stadio Luis Companys ewo Montjuic ho ehwa na mo be koso na afi so mapo games no ntia no info basa for no ye de emamo enanwumre Manchester City omode nkoma ba betudwa na omo nkoma ni nyina chese omo coach Pep Guardiola sala no me pato omo eguso ne team komo so oba stand e de amatim ne mo manwumre enkomo ye die no e chese pepper jetum a stand 1 year kra dada asan 1 year ne ba na wie ya obesan so ahwese 12 months no obesan so de aka ne ho na afi wasan so stand by no ebe optional ono pep ene be jetum se obeto aso no stand another 12 months no nso ade amatim na 90 city for Pep assign 1 year na wie say ye twen official announcement na pipia so I find Ruben Amorim ono so aba betu na Amorim no and na on poison ni trainee na enya asem ketu akra o hese place ni bia hyase na mo manager ni di akro na chese RA Ruben Amorim ye hwe animu se no ma be konkan kama and so ade amano na mom sam fa ani ensem pi na betimi ase kurum hanam se de nipa se agegge ho aboba ge so atoto nyoma fa ho de na chese sa pepepe na tie na mom ye bompa se Amorim no ma ebe koyi kama pan so ade amano na Gigi Buffon aye goalkeeper I'm maybe a twem no ti de juma ade ma the Italian national team and watch Juventus opopo de bi de ma mo Paris Saint-Germain mu nyina no okokoye juma enso ade ma mo na oni nema esi akai wo PSG na Gigi Buffon ade tuja se ba ne talent ene se ball pa yemfa nto form ne yemfa ye namfe fa so yenyi na yentimi enhye goals ahodo na yemfa balls enyi kecha Osinema aye better at the chance Ronaldo on a face Leo Andres Messi and no ayon komo owura no nso akwako di say among 4 p so e jinho chinye e bi se no kure turodo e bi so James and some Buffon e kano onya tie se no kure bia ewum eno e Jean Louis Buffon one Neymar dos Santos Junior among komo no eno no afa Liverpool for momrante na makano mo frem koda ni bi be so ema mo ye training enso mo hwe ni mo se bibia be koye na weekend yi mo time tim kunim na sunuka eba so enti boys no mo tete sunuka ho a mo ebo no kama no Mohamed Salah Gali oda so e wo training grounds ho a o hwe se obeye bibia kama now I get fit said they be against Real Madrid in the Champions League because so and week no unfinished business our can no if you at this time obetimi aye na face watri e dey for Real Madrid for no so na no aye Mohamed Salah Gali na come no eno no oko Real Madrid Lucas Vazquez enche bia na okopra Madrid 4 game on mobile against Osasuna na ayarahosem yi papa na mom de eba wie ni se Lucas Vazquez injury no enhyara nyi huhuhu se de na ehunu no enti omo hwe ni mu so wura no enso abetimi bounce back na face against Liverpool kra no baba betina ni fanfa so na fe wapia ade ama Real Madrid 4 na enye Lucas Vazquez nko a David Alaba Olatikumpo okay last week me de betu wanim se David Alaba ono so ebeba back na January no na David Alaba be bounce back na eno nam so ama Florentino Perez ese so good news mi ni aba nti wan hwa na January kra no o man sign anye signings bia biem o beto aso the way one abobor you know Florentino Perez akokora mafia ne nkomo no enso ana meti bi de chewo no Chelsea for this season bu players o matontena dodo pa adiamamo in all competitions you know say ana tie Christopher Nkunku wa mamo 10 goals in all competitions Cole Palmer ice cold no ono so amamo 7 Nicholas Jackson amamo 6 Joao Felix 5 and afi noni Madueke and so ama goals no and Marco 5 ntia no ye Chelsea 4 players so far this season no oma poko so dodo ade ama club no and abede ho nsama to anim no na Moise Caicedo Premier League no this season and oma oye no ano edin ye papa na mepacho wa complete 30 plus tackles and no chino 500 plus passes and owura no enso complete na duels no wa winning Marco 50 and above and afi possession 1 and so aye 50 and more enti enom aye Moise Caicedo ne nkomo no eno no na chese this season no ne modem so ekon kan ye papa Arsenal for per striker na ono se Alexander Isak player na obone ball and so adema Newcastle Sweden need this year no ono na ye omo priority ono na ye top targeter e ho be hia so obede ne beba na afi Arsenal ni mo no obeba be gina be ye adwuma no na Newcastle for no say Isak ebe kodia omo so be consider strikers minu ye Dominic Calvert-Lewin and afi so Jonathan Davis omo strikers minu a omo hwe anim so omo de obo beba no maba be replace Isak ewo Newcastle team no na hye no so say next summer no 2 players we nyina be free agent Jonathan Davis and have Dominic Cavallero omo abe free agent and also ayan koma eba no na enra Brazil for any Uruguay ball game no ekowie 1-1 nemo before the game no me pacho Brazil for no omo tumati bi e Brazil amre bi omo di na afi so omo de kai e blacks omo ba be di djuma Brazil omo de oman no akọ animu yie papa na Vinicius Junior ono ana afi no mo celebrating na emre bia no omo koye test na oma hwese wunchi kura wa bibrem no ehene fa potin ene hye na bepato Vini Junior de no omo koye na yese Vinicius ne ancestry no utresi a obemba benya bi so ewo Cameroon abonten so enti Vinicius Junior eno no enti na chese ne na no mni bi wo ho a na omo firi Cameroon ana afi omo kokoso ya wo Brazil medical cartel sane maame anso efiri DR Congo enti Vinicius Junior no a chese no na ono nso ana chese obi a epona baso wo Brazil man Real Madrid for Mbappe and players na o maka no omo eguso omo training omo Liverpool bo nyame ya doma next week Wednesday afi so La Liga game against Leganes and so abebaso. What the shower no dash near the shen one or china pokes kotua and so our back Real Madrid for no more any muse weekend be enough is Wednesday Liverpool game no so and oma everything a concan come the amount first measure and of a peak up so down and I didn't summon a by the scene of Osman Haruna. Another man go. And one go. Open so I'm the best.
Everything cockra and cockra dana.
It was one that is some banner. They say a man qualify for no who's
now who support wine.
I had
but that's an again now. What's right?
Let me marry me who bought one of us.
Now do I need no more money? I brew. No money, I break. I say, and I mean, you should do some more can ask some go for the
oh, maybe they make
performance winner. Boy, never to me the area in the game.
A performance.
I done a game 6 games
now qualifies. Now a very game war here. Afcon. Intim new piano. Intim new piano. No pass some the heart. Now I can't be more Cote d'Ivoire. Yes, then is why a dingram money.
Martin Hungla. Francis in getting
Senate. Morocco for only a host this year. The number of boy or who ball power. I 26 goals and I'm saying Algeria photo sumino a 16 Miansa South Africa and also 16 we are see what Guinea for by Guinea flag and a man sign Ghana flag. Well, Ghana so a Guinea for the South Africa. Almost 9 Ghana 2 now say in the annual dear. On Miami Pachomokoya unbeaten, Obient Mian Sham or qualifies and say no and a Winsome City, Morocco, Algeria, South Africa, Egypt, Comoros for unbeaten or Afcon qualifies them Senegal, Cameroon, Mali, and Alfei, Angola. We any teams yam or me unbeaten or South now, Miami Mokoya. One game comment me anwini bi senate chama odi kan Ghana me pato one game yentimi anwene ye draw miensa elusu miensa Madagascar yenuanom omo draw mienu elusu makoma ko enan Chad 4 me pato nkra no omo lusu miensa draw miensa tin kan na ho a when you be a and the medium come on at the actual na top scorer say ba mu no Brahim Diaz kan Edma Morocco was a 7 and Alpha Brante Fence Grassi on so from my friend Mali a Guinea mum or no enso share 6 na fe Mamu Trazege or no enso share 4 you know Brante Fence Musonda or no enso share 4 and they made you come on at the actual Ewojimadi so eye ene anumre na ibewi African sense no hom yenko wi my fence Tanzania ho na club a ye fene Simba for no ma launch mu no jese kura na Vincent hwa utimi se kama pa men Canada kura na enya sam kodanti we home just nie na swali ma second one na third one no efe kama pa utimi se brand ne was so enti we club e fence Simba on penin for dia ba enti we say on be ball league nim na fe Federation Cup no we enombe yisu a ene medium komo e dia chotimi sampa o time papa na no menka enada ko pa body efe papa enti yemfa African sense mni so ho na afi yemra fiankasa Nipacho Krobia Kumasi Asante Kotoko Asante Region Circus Chairman Mr. Alex Manu no chimse no man koye na ra ho papa Kotoko team no enoma enkoye ne momo no de onfa blame enfo mo bibia department Kotoko no obi anhwe na adwuma onhwe na onye ne yi na Kotoko team no enfa na team pa enfa mfra
the department of Asante Kotoko F4 you have the management which is the IMC you have the technical team and we have the players we have the supporters. Sanipa for when mama you winning matches. Yeah, and say you me lose. So me lose ne ba say I mean person me apportion blame on one department. To make us you know obia nye the way obia also obia me the juma yi. In fact na me ra ho yi pa. Ko last year I say asa agro. E ko 1 say e ko 2 say e ko 3 e ko 4 say anybody we do 7. Nti I ho sempa. For so far say I lose home matches too no. I ho sem e di pa. Na
Alex Manu no chairman circus chairman Asante Region de Club by fence Krobia Kumasi Asante Kotoko ne sam no na ye kokoti o kirem so onfa blame ne mobia ne mom no department a wodo kotoko tim no bia hwe na onye na dwuma ye ma bibia enso nkonkan pa yenko buses no so na fe yenko kodi nkomo e buses na sense efe kama pa anya asam koto ma kuma konkron ana mpenimfo odi abat we mo promise ya GFA ye last season say teams am wo division 1 zone 1 zone 2 zone 3 wa betimi atos from 1 to 3 no munyina monsa ebeka buses ni bi kama pa ama normal content bus na da so a wanya bia wo hwe no na mihusam pa teams ni nyina akọ ekokoje omo bus na bra juma de ne course no penimpa edema Ghana Football Association Mr. Kate Okrekodi tuja echechense
back in June 2023 during our congress in Kumasi. I spoke about identified needs in the football ecosystem, and one of the things that I spoke about was the lack of transport for our clubs, the inability of our players to travel in comfort towards games, and therefore the FA was introducing a new policy which we call the bus acquisition strategy that will enable our clubs to acquire buses that will allow our players to travel in comfort. Today we are here to see a fulfillment of that singular promise by the Executive Committee of the Football Association. 9 clubs from our Access Bank Division 1 League will today take home one of these beautiful buses. I think the bus acquisition strategy was and is part of the merit awards for the season ending 2023-2024, and the intention of the FA will be again to offer buses for the upcoming season. Details will be announced very soon. So today, it promises to be a very short ceremony.
In the course of that conversation, about GFA, and we got kind of my titi from very, very reliable sources. So plans were far advanced. Say every president will be seeking a third term. The one I'm talking say a new party anchor lie. If looking at the results, since Wapek taking up the job now, I didn't actually chase. Now I didn't actually chase. Why don't you finish your 2 terms? Nanka, wako baby. Na usa completed one at the end there. Yebinum will fight. Sa proposal no. You say it's a matter of going to Congress for it to be passed. But at least you are not gonna fight. You are not fight. Plans are. Well, the enemy say baby kuranka. Say in the last 2 years or so, at the point it was the day. Every day no, a party now back Kudus now back to Jordan. In the state of how many months? If captainship was a challenge to an association, and then at the end, 2 people just like that, then Namu blast papa.
Mr. Kujofiano, or chairman Edima Gaka, Nensamo and a Koti Chemiso Stellano, August stand by in a statement or Chemiso, say Antima qualified and who be here pa, so reference Mr. Ketakun Penny Fornos no, or more betting me Arizona no Maconkai, Eddie Amagana football name, make was a macho. Yankoram, our division and near her table no, say and a team no be biada, na the chance after match day 7, we as 1A, the tennis, Tamala City for the kind, or more 19 points na fee, RT Photosumino, or more 18, Miansa I was Sorenanti, or more Yomupa, Ghost or Mosh or more GB, or more our 10 points, manners of 6 goals, and I Northern City, or more 8 na fee, Shankano, or Mone Grass and one Calic stars in the day, Quam Bias or Sha, no Masako, Munchim, 1 man for mighty riots for no, Ukopim, our zone 1 Biwa, or Mone Dikine, or more our 13 points, Miano Ayadi baby, 11. Bafo Soccer Academy, I could see Chairman, a soccer academy, no, the Tennessee or more and so 11, and I add Doma Unity or more 10, the Chima for me and San Ajabo so I see her, and I feel Tambo Faka Tatokra, and so Hanino, make some atro, Ukopium Ozone 2. Short draw all blast for Monday, a quan caipa, money, and then branding like come as I said, if you're branding power, social media, and has some good to Accra, a Koye, or Mudika more 17 points, Mino Aeros Park Academy, or more 14 of me son, and so a Park Academy, or more and so our 13, and they know, make come was macho. Young copium Ozone 3, now young couldn't come on, Olibabu, Olimasi, Olim Conson, Olitina Moba. The attendance a great Olympics or Mudika more 17 points. The Otosim United for almost so 16. Me and I run masters or and so 14 and medium come out at Jumadi so a year and race up pepe and a Honsam city. Now young quite not fin someone kind of young fan to us and fama dear say pepe and Honsam on city. Now and Ghana, Utim Sampa, among for Benasha, say Cassana says, no, Yanko Ram, our Mr. George Free, or your former GFA Vice President. Now, Wakasa, then some new Facebook and a warning yet no, I got to come up. I got to a cat to us so, Utim Sampa or so bucket ya basso. Say what me a deliver and promise come up bass Macon ama division 1 team dia referent Georgia free team so or bucket a bass power to a cat to us so be I say yeah sap pen and they know when me say jam say there I'm running crabia and betre na my body did you can sembri and you know I was sign Emma Ghana for 19 some work also no omblemo to add that say no to add na man no man koyi am fan blaster team no so to add nakasa kire Ghana for pefe so no ni adwen bia so be coach national team no e kan me say GF ni ket na kofo so na dada na e de ne baya na ma no manyina jiagu e de my national team no
don't want catch your players on your ready so be coach blaster what's me back for a short period. I'm only coming to take Ghana to the World Cup, qualify us to the World Cup and go play the World Cup and then leave to go and continue my job.
Mr. George Afriye or a former GFA vice president in Samno and I gusa yiti no we na what was watching him say and I know some trouble be so to some better resign was me been coming crack I mean resign cry and also court na necessary as son says a GFA for ankasa be kind of crap cross be say the contract mu say so want me amfa Ghana and qualify am fan ko Afcon na bia omo ho kwan sam terminate the contract no into onim the GFA for to wo ya ono so nyana so be resign to onim the GFA for no eti hwa omo eye omi entiesema Mr. George Afriye esakai
the resign chair onim the na MC I can state it on authority say it is in Otoado's contract one of the clauses that can terminate the contract Afcon to one qualifier. Obama out 7 minutes of war. It's in there. Yes, the FA has every right to terminate the contract. I can state it on authority say it is
Mr. George Afriye or a former GFA vice president Ninsamno and an Yegusu Kara ama wonya biati kama pandi Kevin Waba na abes and kama pa ama no maso akonkayi na the chance Blasters team the team manager Mr. Aminu Shadon Wakasa also results no kwa na ankoyi but say band performance pa na Ghana fo nyina be ka no kra yana wasan ke top group no de dana die de boti ne jefo de boti ma HS Angola fo Sudan fo no se modimo aye boy no se ka performance nko na se Ghana fo be ka no kra pa de na wasan ka ye anke group no ke top ne mo results no nko any idea ankoyi
results results have not been forthcoming, but if you look at the performance of the team in most of the games, we performed better than the results that we got. If we are going to be honest and be factual to happenings, I mean, first game boy against Angola, did anything suggest to you say it was a lose game, Nana? When you pipe down the emotion, now we'll come more deeper and look at that, analyze the games, just the games. If the performance of the team in the games all the games that we played is anything to go by, like I was saying, topic group, no, by performance, unless you want to be blind to the facts. Results results have not been forthcoming, but if you look at the performance of the team in most of the games, we performed better than the results that we got. If we are going to be honest and be factual to happenings, I mean,
Mr. Aminu Shado ono a team manager Adima Blasters team no chirem so eka performance nko ase we Ghana no be ka no kra na wasan ke kwa na ke top group yi je say asomo kan ye de asomo Aminu Shado just the boy think betim that aso bi a chirem so eka performance nko ade a ye na wasan ke top group say ye yere hobo pa ne mo results na ama wa honti ne nsemo kan ye no yemfri wai yenkrom ro friends like kings na so ye no chirem so ma FNM pepra mo hanka so na mo saki o to na de dabi munya abotre na mo man kwan na afi World Cup qualified games egu animu yi on san to some fire mo na ma eno man konka na ogidie pa so betimi aboa am World Cup no so yenso yatimi akobi.
For me, if we go now and change the coach or the technical team and bring new faces, it will be a disaster. I think we should allow him to at least finish the World Cup qualifiers. And then after that, we make decision as a country. For me, if we go now and change the coach or the technical team and bring...
And some reference like case in the two. Cup out to some Pagana for Brepa, Canada, the US and Mexico Hono. I could be say Morocco not say I'm a Ghana for you say do to young Morocco into Canada Sana Babayana and the Ghana for you support to young permanent Nemo me man of Quine. Now want me and Uncle Canada pa dia in Yano. Why papa the American one some actual imagine so and then Ray Yemfree Ghana team of the week after match they love in young come on goalkeeper no air brand TFN Zoka Masawudu on a goalkeeper at the match young apostles me pacho atro my place makoma kona omogina chiro remember Jenny Boateng we see kan at the club offense Accra Lions Oko Gripman obeka ni pa na no offense most of my can asem so on a very good year and na brand TFN simsini wono obetimi abo amane ne din aba team of the week Abdul Nuruddin si akan adema mediama Christian Owusi si akan ma Dreams FC Nana Kusi Asante we ahemfofo din o si akan ma Vision FC ana afi Boateng Regan si akan adema Bechem United Boboko no Nafi Sulemana se go ti akro bia team no ne din aba mobi eno chi ne Kwadwo Jesi si akan adema Legon Cities Samuel Prempeh ko share go the chance o si akan adema young apostles on the din eba mo bi na fe Hamza Isa ono ehye go ade mahasfok boboku no din enso eba mo bi ntwei any team of the week and you know make an wasem ade outro me pato marketing and brands manager ade ma Nations FC Mr Kennedy Boachi Ansa and wakasa na so o make case ade ma local players mo Ghana has you know local best players trim so ultimate say ya chakra do see free players be afin local league no mo kusia kama Blasters no mo no the na no de yiko something kwa na chere pefe say players be na ahead ready something kwa na chakra do as na ye friend nti wa chere trim so efe na chakra players do na wo a gidi so almost no e betimi abo your national team no.
Say it is long overdue. Say Razak Simpson, near friend Blasters player last season winning 8 man of the match awards. See I can't nukro kromwa. I say Oseku for Razak Simpson, Sadiq. They should be playing for the Blasters. Already to one Blasters near now. Almost all the backline were local players. And we saw Kwesiapia, Senegal, Frimpong Man, Somonio, so even the goalkeepers were local players. I mean, so what the Blasters did. And they say and they had a match I ball against
Mr. Kennedy Boachi Ansa ono marketing brands manager at the Nations FC Football Club in Semono and yeko equity no Jeffers Mixer and P Caps Sadaroma and I think kunya kesi mo yede agudi mu nsem yede esmo o bode raheba so bia drasto bia pharmacy bia okwa osemepe Jeffers Mixer and P Caps so nsabe kan bi kama pa ama no manso akonkan ade amam de tense o hweme na o ye bema wagima ye ewo mpase wo fampa oni oba no siasisi na oho asa no ontimi ma oba no ho sepe no wo ho ontimi nwura no emye mfro miwura tutumrikai na ma onsan ka Jeffers adupai bi na ema no manko yie pa emfama bema bi otimi so no de o ye sa akosu agese akosu ye so oba ho a na ne ho adodo no ha de po bi de ntimi sore kama ho adi wom oba no ye so agese oba ba ho a na otimi se ampa na ne ho asana na bibia konka bibia kobone de ama no wo e ba se ha adwen bema de e wo sa bibia no utimi dino na so timi chapa ye adwuma ye na no maso konkan de ma what you say ye adwuma ye ma oba no sampa oni bema na e ware oni bema na sabi omu dete e ma no man konkan emfa e ma obu o chise oni sika oni so ba te no de bia bu san se de ntia otimi adwuma ye oba no ampa me ne bema na te wo e ba sa na e ba o yare kra na oba timi chise oba no mo chise e ha dwen o oba na yare otimi sa de be sraw asan so oba yi onim se adwuma beye wono ho ntino ne ho ebetima to ne kama pa amana atimi asore asan akoni fie kama na de etense obi so wo a enam gonorrhea nti de bia na ne be ma no efon de bia okobiara hwe ne be ma ndi os no aye se net sa kakra sa efon ko mesrew entrance no e ma ne mfonsa ne nyane ye se yare mo obi ne wo onipaduam e na akofa sa ha no e dia bro no mji fast ne bi na emo pa na nsisi we kama pa no achen so no obi nso wo a odwon so aye se o chim ansana adwon so na ba obi wo adwon sa wi no na ne be ma mo hye sa ha obi nso odwon so na mo apa mienu aye gonorrhea mo na kofa sa ha wanyina edeba ntimi sro pa tutumrikai na ma onsa enka gifasa do pa no bi na enoma enkoyi kama enfa ema ho eno achen so no utimi se bema bi so wo a che se odwon so na mo apa mienu o se mbe wontafo obi wo che se wona ma nsa hye ne botum twi ne bema wo sa obaka so be sika ma enyi sika na obeyi ma yade na che se ha no otwi ho eba se ha adwen pa mesrew bema wo so no oba betima ya adwuma da hore ba miensa ne mom no ohun ensuo entimi oba emfa afuro no wadu Jeffers Mixer and Pickups no na make am for edi amount wo yo oba na ohwe me na white ene wo so mesrew emfa white ne mo safo himada enka white de ena ye mayade da bi eba se ha adwen pa no Jeffers ne bi na emmoa ena white nti enka ba ho white ama wase wotre white ama nso fita egu ha adwen pa mesrew magifas enye onei okamafo na eni wasem emfa ema oba ofa afro na sai oba no kunu compass onya atenka onya atenka from park oyede eba se ha adwen pa nti mesrew pa ma onsanka gifasa de panabi na enoma nkoyi kama emfa ema oba de bia meka onra se ofra agro nti fra agro kama ema no mankoyi emfa ema nti no mamenyina so na memfa nsem nyina emfancy Vincent.
All right. If I don't see what's going say all the local stories, no, about a year. But Mamintia Benito, Benito is one guy on fire and sports in Niagara. The Chiman Jaco, a Hona Benito, Chimwa, the Niji boys in a home, and Niji sports no yepa Benito, and you may say, oh, Mechel yepa, Yankupon and Kaho. Talk us one of her, near more sports and for Emerald. Abalo. Ha, wo Jara phones. Osman say Jara. Ai, Abalo was who phone no say that wakra na aboso na car kra na afa so a o de ba. Abalo be yama. O a good man pa.
E ba the CNC phone a. Abalo oni seso. Oni size.
Very good.
What you say? Oh, sir, ultimate man for dia dance here. Assess saying all the crab Abalo about my yama. And found the assess say dia cell phone will be Abalo be yama.
Na no was Vincent the o fa die ma me nyan to was Abalo my shoe.
Abalo teach my can market no city one Abalo. Nti enchi Abalo area only for still shop.
Sure.
And I'm man for still. Is for still so say for still no me.
On here come binana.
Yeah,
Kebi one bisa.
Nti for still how I mean only horse one na say. Chane that to that be na Abalo di amount.
Ana Abrante bi di Makati. Ono so e wo techiman around shortingo say what about be saying with him pa Daniel. Osi ni panel.
Sure.
Dani menti o.
Listen. Okay, me that's na I'm starting free some foreign stories kakra. Mr. Fisem we are now at a level of chat. The African Samba boys, e hadwin, e duru ha ebe. E kwan ebe so kan asem no. Vincent, Omomami, the longest serving managers in the Premier League. On your screen, Vincent. Pep Guardiola, 8 years, still counting. Thomas Frank will give you some 6 years. Arteta 4. Marco Silva 3. Now, we had use coaches Dian. Obvious say the number of years of must stay with various teams, they've at least kept a certain legacy. Pep there, we've seen handwriting plus titles. Thomas Frank there, the team is not that competitive, but the fact of the matter is, we're a boogie side against top big teams in the Premier League. Arteta there, we have time for that. Looking at Marco Silva, coach Bakua, in as much as the team don't have the materials, but on a very normal day, they can give you a tough run for your money when you are facing them as a team. Ideally, Marco Silva's handwriting reflected within Fulham team. But the most demanding among all these four, A2, Pep Guardiola and his son, Mikel Arteta. Now, which I keep Pep Guardiola in 8 years, was a very nice legacy with Manchester City. I was not standing back account. Into looking at the legacy, since I joined the Vincent, what my winning Premier League not to a certain point. Champions were GB for the first time for Manchester City, a lot of titles. In terms of, Pep legacy in India, won't me write any bad note about Pep Guardiola's stay at Man City. But Arteta, the third most longest serving manager in the EPL, was spending 4 years, as I'm another 3 years extension. Now, dear Bakone say, the only thing Arteta can show for, I say, we are building small, we can come and compete, but it's not yet time. And Uchakeni stay now, he can offer Arsenal for a FA Cup and then some 1 or 2 community shield will be obvious. That is not a level Arsenal. I expect Arteta to be there as one of the longest serving manager in the Premier League. And looking at the quest for the title now, for the past years, Arteta upon home with Arsenal, but there's always a benchmarker, time be or not a level, no engine do that level now with my compete with the top guys, being it Liverpool or Club First and Manchester City. This season, Arsenal fans know Didier pass say, look, before the start of the season, they were having the hope say they could do something promising based on last season evidence now show But the Crepani say, looking at Arne Slot, Pep Guardiola, Enzo Maresca, and even his Pluto now. Obvious says Arteta and year a bit difficult pass the Premier League title dream a bit coming to reality. Since our managerial career where roles and positions are finishing for the past 4 years now or serve as Arsenal coach, which means things are not going well for him. And based on last season evidence and points, they will have the hope that this season will be something interesting of a complexion for Arsenal. But Vincent, looking at the table, Nemo Nkoye craft for Arsenal, and then again looking at this season, additions now Mayana, everybody was having the hope say at least Arsenal could do something promising. But we check the league table now, they are somewhere around 4th position with some 19 points. Things are not that rosy for Mikel Arteta. In their quest to boost their confidence, they are looking for a number 9, an out and out striker. Now, based on Premier League experience, they are opting for a branch defense, Alexander Isak of Newcastle. Now, for me personally, so check Arsenal squad depth need for this season. In terms of goalkeeping, so we are branching first David Raya. Even say others in Man City, Pep can opt for David Raya because of the level of consistency. So come Manchester United, he can also compete with the likes of Andrew Onana. Until for goalkeeping department, Arsenal don't have problem. The back line, Real Madrid pursue a branch of friends say William Saliba, Gabriel Munina on the radar on the market, showing say these are high performing guys. On a very normal day, look, they are consistent, they are playing at the highest level for Arsenal Football Club. Who confuse what they have Vincent? Thomas Partey, ni feature no air on and off Kakra, but when you have a branch of Declan Rice, one of the best DMs in the game, and then again, Martin Odegaard, the creative spark in the Premier League this season, no, obviously saying film what they have Vincent, there are no issues for Arsenal. The flanks, I mean, who check here, branch of Martinelli, he is on and off, but Rosa Bano a revelation from the bench. Then again, Bukayo Saka and the level of consistency, no, it keeps running and running. But the main issue for Arsenal is the focal point, number 9, somebody that can add a touch to Arsenal season, no, an out-and-out striker. Almost strikers, no, Jesus injuries or injury prone, on your proven, on your consistent, he can give you high volume goals in the season. Kai Havertz the fourth 9 hour per ball, the 9 winner then or football, but drop it deep actually now pass it on to more about 20 goals a season. In T, you do a leveler. If you want to win the Premier League, you must score more than at least single-handedly. You must score more than 20 goals to keep your team going. But Arsenal don't have that quality within their squad available. Now, it's a conversation. For me personally, what Claire say, or a guy back he doesn't allow moment of adaptation to frustration. Over Premier League first season, we saw the numbers. The entire season as a debutant, Newcastle 10 goals in that season. The only thing he say he's not assist-oriented number 9. He gets to be assist-oriented and then he say, Otimifa assist second game. He's not that type. But giving you goals and numbers as the main duty of a number 9, he'll give it to you. Last season, he was able to give Newcastle all competition 25 goals, obvious and or a guy back where you can rely on him. But what I see in the cake, which Arsenal like that quality, what we call the fear factor in attack. You can say fear factor, Vincent. Strike and agent when deal the president and to me both defenders until we saw a game against Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, so check it Tottenham coach now. He loves the high defensive line. But on your screen, look, we're managing to create a fear factor into the 2 center backs of Tottenham Hotspur and now occupy the high line. That is fear factor. Kai Havertz can give you that. Gabriel Jesus can give you that. If they're opting for such a player, listen, I agree with them. Looking at Arteta, he loved the Johan Cruyff 3P, possess, position, pressing, and ope. I mean, forwards are much more facilitated game to allow him to let the game flow. And looking at Isaac, he can drop deep, he can facilitate. He can also make sure he can add a lot of press. If you want the 3D or that the 3 defensive line, he can give it to you in T. For a branch of Isaac there, personally, looking at numbers, for me, I can endorse Arsenal to go for him because Jesus give me more numbers, Kai Havertz is not proven enough. And then again, other guys are more how to complement efforts and then let Arsenal flow. They are lacking. And having a certain, link up, tie up, a creative spark, a honey milk in the shape of Martin Odegaard, we can give a lot of passes to let you score more goals in the Premier League. Do say he's not that type of Erling Haaland type, but Vincent, where that type of versatile goal scorer, he can score from, short range, long distance, headers, or a very top notch. And I believe that with the Premier League experience, look, Arsenal can settle for him, and I believe that he can do something reliable for Arsenal to keep their titles up consistent. Even if you go to Manchester United, they can even boast of the likes of Rasmus Hojlund, those say Nyamfire, Joshua Zexim, Manchester City can give Erling Haaland, dashing man that will nest as well Liverpool Football Club, complementing Mohamed Salah, Diogo Jota. For me, Arsenal, the only weakest department for me is the number 9 rule. And opting for, Isaac, I can endorse it for them to see whether, they can keep a very nice place to realize of, Carlos Lotz and then Pep Guardiola going for it. Ibe Vincent. To be honest, I'm starting free AFCON in sense, Ghana, by a level, Vincent. Every Ghanaian must have concern about baby drop your baby. We are talking about a national team. We are called the Samba Boys of Africa, based on how we used to play our games. How quality it me integrate with a certain style it me reveal in the field of play no. We were called the African Brazilians based on our style of play and our legacy. But Vincent, we started dropping to a point. Vincent, we are now within Chad more level. My goodness God. Ghana. How many teams now, Vincent? Winning game qualification no. Oh, they should give you a level.
I don't know what the Jordan net so.
Oh, graphics keke.
What graphics?
Vincent,
why would you do that?
Ghana. Your group nanga so based on FIFA rank no. I was reaching omu. Yantimanche.
You see, sometimes no, I want equality. You could have taken any of that a minor player and you're gonna play that also.
Oh, Vincent. Who is that? Who can design the graphic?
Omo bia ni ma say
14
for
Vincent.
Oh, level no.
Bia man do more of flop bia. And the player na be am
obi adwun akoso. Mo for bi player. Dem fa say bia card for mo afa card player.
Be ba say obi ani sa player.
Enguma bi ni ma say. Ana mo bia ni ma say sa. Ya mo den.
Anya mo na mo ya mo de wa.
Ya den.
Krafo mo wi.
Ya wo han krafo.
Vincent, to be honest.
Akon enye de. Enye de china.
Are we still within this conversation?
Enye de yenka hu enye de.
Really?
Enye de yenka hu no. Mo be bof ko na ma yahwe yenka hu no.
Da ba kwa na yere se be kwa e kire se na budget se na ma ya start ya na ma na ya de afo e bedwo.
Mo be me ya kwa akọ na ya ka budget ho asem na bibia ye na fe no.
Sports minister na bibia nsem.
Bibia ko ye na we na ye kwa Africos pa hwe pa ye de.
Sports minister na so bedwo no.
Vincent, what do you mean fancy?
What does you want? Yanka hono. Ghana. What do you publish CAF? Yanko no CAF bob na sui. Si ye me doba Ghana na nko bie. Monko bo afko Ghana nka ho na ye mo de na monko. Monko Robert, mamintio. O mbeki kanse mu ntwi yen. Na de bia de o ye ya no. Yanko bi. Enya fe nya de. Yeah.
On say.
You didn't go to Africa.
Obia, so in Centronia, open news.
My messages go
open news. And so her news now. Oha mine na sala ohona. Ghana nkwana unqualified news. Into who play and also the Nokotos. What I say.
And we said Muguye Robert.
Yes, but me concern here. Nipa no single out.
I didn't Kotoso.
I didn't toso.
Cause I'm fat easy. Was sensi
on you be able to. Aha, nke bet my team in our picture. Na dey atoso. But say a single out near Nipa ba open, but it's obvious because our team now is the most experienced player there. Into omofa na untimi emfo to mo bebre sa Sanias.
He's a game changer for Leicester. Timba be go. Ana mo yan sa.
Aha ko timi change game.
Aha ko timi change game bo free kick she mayen. Na no ya mo hwi. Nyona she free kick mayen. Enti ade enti awde to so obra tizi gide mo na to nyunu.
Said Rafael Nadal aja hoko and
okana sa na akwa se de wawu be
no.
Ni bra bere no.
After the Davis Cup, on Saudi Kai announcement said, Jumadi in the banner we are on to some more tennis debut. Now, the age of 38, you would expect we are near Beshe. Say, for so long a time, I was see a kind of competition or the banner we. Now, Sahara Fenada mostly say, car sportsmen are winning a pija or more do a certain level. Yana, we talk about people who pass through a lot during their childhood. And Tigubo look at moderate in a story in Swa. Obekase, the little boy from Zagreb, and during that time, there was war. Now, she window more was a 2 year to 2 kukunko 4, and I know when you have a top level player. But Rafael Nadal situation here a bit different. No, you won't no, no, here near Busianim, but he just decided to take the sport for himself. Nanka kranka or the Ebekonin. So, Rafael Nadal Busiana, Nani Papa a businessman, now only restaurant, and again, no glass company, and so many other companies are not this Cabreno. No, Miankasa was Obia now or perfume shop. I am one of the biggest in the city of Mayoka. But I want a mammy, you know, and I guess a shop no the bet or beton movie. Now, when you're quite sharing just to raise them up very well. And now, or decide, sir. Now, so Rafael Nadal, uncle, sir, your papa be a friend Miguel Angel Nadal. Now, maybe I can know a player, Mama Yuka. Osanso Kobo FC Barcelona, aboard the Spanish national team. And if you want to know the magnitude of career Nadal, no Faninya, he played 203 games for FC Barcelona and also 13 goals the mount. That is the player we are talking about. Until at some point, now ultimately Nadal called Barca dressing room just for him to have a feel of an customer. But in a way, it was a competition between two uncles. Bakusu friend Tony Nadal was a tennis coach. Until now, both of them will be a wrestler, but winning the boy's heart to his side. Until it's a Tony Nadal or Benya Kwano or Rafael Nadal is here. Not the tennis are Shenase, not born in Kakran at 8-3. Say Miguel and her Nadal soon be your opportunity. Not the Noko come. No more with dinner as mascot now or the Nako Stadium. Just to make sure. And listen, the rest was history. He has played tennis to the very top level. Oko Grand Slams, 22 singles, and as a titles, and our J only bettered by Novak Djokovic. No, 24. And Oko French Open now, Marco 14, and Uranaje. And if he's off the business today, definitely, while you're a tennis fan, Biano, you will be a bit worried. Say, Roger Federer is off. We have Rafael Nadal also gone. Novak Djokovic. Listen, he's the last man standing. And here have a view of the Bekwa could do. But we are not so Mummy and sending enough the offer. Why no man ever? Carlos Alcaraz, Yannick Senna, consistency in the new Mafa Baby, especially Senna. International say, yeah, prepare Kwane Diama, Carlos Alcaraz say he should dominate for the next 10-15 years alone. Intermediate not tennis, no, near Francophobia the big three, no. After them, maybe we will not be able to get saved. And we are nearby the big one and all two. And we are there by a bit worrying. But then, Rafael Nadal, we wish him well. Baby, I could be an onyame and one and any man called come and 5 man. Weekend, there will be a game in the Premier League. And that game, no, say about game one, the coaches usually meet our office or just to have a drink. If so, more a good relationship between them. And one game that will bring memories about Manchester United playing against Ipswich. Go two coaches, no Ruben Amorim and after Karen McKinnon, they passed through the hands of Jose Mourinho. Nay, or Mummy so or idol way, Ruben Amorim, and now all in